actually going to do some computations from our pie charts. And we're working with our percent formula. So when we do our percent formula, we're going to take the percent times the total to equal the part. If you took algebra, we did these in algebra class, but I get to remind you again. So sometimes it will ask me for the total. Sometimes it's going to say, how much did I spend on these 2 or 3 things? So 2 different ways we may do this problem. It says the pie chart below shows how the total annual income for a certain family is spent. The amount budgeted for auto, housing, and insurance is $50,000. What was the total family income? So this question asks for what is the total. We know the part then is the $50,000. The percent we got to figure out. We have auto at 12%, housing at 27%, and insurance at 11%. So we're going to start by adding 27 plus 11 plus 12. Gives us how much? $50%. So if I plug that into my formula, I'm saying 50%, which as a decimal we have to use 0.50 or 0.5. 50% times my total is equal to my part, which was the $50,000. If I want to solve that for t, I end up doing what? If I want to solve this for t, what do I have to do? Divide by my 50%, right? So we're going to take our $50,000 and divide it by our 50%. We get 100,000. You maybe knew that without doing any calculations because 50% would have been half. If half of it was 50,000, the whole thing would have been 100,000, right? So on number 5, this time it says the pie chart shows how the total annual income for a certain family is spent. The total annual income is $105,000. That's the total. We want to know how much did they spend on just auto and food. So we're looking for the part. So again, we're going to take auto, which is 15%, and food, which is 17%, and add those together. If I add those together, I get 32%. I'm going to take 32% times the total. This time they gave us the total. 105,000. We're looking for the part that they spent on those 2 things. Right? I can't spend more than I have budgeted or that I make. Or at least hopefully I'm not spending more than I make. So if you take 0.32 times 105,000, we end up with you got what?
33,600.
There you go. 33,600. They're not going to have you do any rounding. Should get $33,600. So my total was $105,000 for my income. I spent $33,600 on food and auto. So number 6, the pie chart below shows how the annual budget for a certain company is divided by department. If the total budget is $75 million, what amount is budgeted for sales, media, and editorial? So what would I do in order to figure that out? We're going to add up our sales, our media, and our editorial. 20 plus 7 plus 3 gives us 30%. 30% times our total, and our total is 75 million, should then equal the part. And you'll know if you do the wrong thing by multiplying or dividing. Hopefully when you look at your answer, you know if it makes sense. I can't have an answer that's bigger than 75 million, right? You got how much? 22,500,000. I suppose I should put some dollar signs on that. $22,500,000. So if it says find the total, you end up dividing. If you're finding the part spent on 2 or 3 things, you're going to end up multiplying.